welcome to MedCrunch. I'm Zishan and today we'll be studying about the brachial plexus injuries. In this video, we'll be focusing on Erb's paralysis and Klumpke's paralysis. So let's begin. Erb's paralysis. The site of injury in Erb's paralysis is the Erb's point. Now, the Erb's point is the region of upper trunk where 6 nerves meet. So let's have a look. Here we see the Erb's point. We have the C5, C6 roots joining together forming the upper trunk, and then the upper trunk divides into 2 divisions, anterior and posterior divisions, and then it also gives branches to the suprascapular nerve and nerve to subclavius. So in total we have 6 nerves joining to form the upper trunk, and this junction is called the Erb's point. Coming back, okay, so what's the cause of Erb's paralysis? The cause is too much separation of head and the shoulder. So for example, here we have the fetal head which is being pulled during the delivery. So we can see that the head and the shoulder are being separated to their extremes. This is one of the reasons which lead to Erb's paralysis. And then in the second one that we have is the fall on shoulder. As we can see in this picture here, falling on shoulder again increases the separation between the head and the shoulder. So the nerve roots involved in Erb's paralysis are C5 and C6 roots, as we have already seen in this picture here, C5 and C6. So the muscles involved are, first we have deltoid. So deltoid is supplied by the axillary nerve, and this axillary nerve is a derivation from the upper trunk, as we can see via the posterior division through the posterior cord. And then we have supraspinatus and infraspinatus, which are supplied by the suprascapular nerve. Now, when the suprascapular nerve is affected because of the injury to the upper trunk, these 2 muscles also get affected. Then we have biceps brachii, which is supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve. Since the musculocutaneous nerve is getting affected, the biceps brachii also get affected. Brachialis is also supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve. Then we have brachioradialis, which is supplied by radial nerve. An injury to the upper trunk will affect the radial nerve. Since the upper trunk contributes in the formation of the posterior cord, an injury to the upper trunk will affect the branches of the posterior cord, due to which the radial nerve gets affected. The position of the upper limb. The arms hang by the side, they are adducted. Now the arms are adducted because of the paralysis of the deltoid, which are responsible for the abduction of the arm, and they are supplied by the axillary nerve, which is affected here. Then they are also medially rotated. Now medially rotated because of the involvement of the supraspinatus muscle and the infraspinatus muscle, which are supplied by suprascapular nerve here. Then the forearm is extended and pronated. This happens because of the involvement of the biceps brachii and brachialis. Biceps brachii is responsible for flexion at the elbow joint and supination of the forearm, whereas brachialis is responsible for flexion at the elbow joint only. And these 2 muscles are supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, which is affected here. And as we can see here in the picture, the arms hang by the side, they are adducted, medially rotated, and the forearm is extended and pronated. The wrist is flexed, as we can see here, and this occurs only when there is involvement of C7 root. Okay, so this deformity is similar to policeman's step-taking position and waiter's step-taking position, as we can see here in the picture. And there he gets it. Moving on, we have Klumpke's paralysis. In Klumpke's paralysis, the site of injury is the lower trunk of the brachial plexus, which involves C8 and T1 roots. The cause of injury is extreme abduction of the arm from the body. Now this could occur because of the pulling of the fetal upper limb during delivery. As we can see here in the picture, the upper limb is getting extremely abducted, due to which the lower trunk of the brachial plexus can be affected here. The other cause is trying to catch something while falling from a height, and he's trying to catch hold of anything that comes in his way. So this could lead to Klumpke's paralysis due to the involvement of the lower trunk of the brachial plexus. So the nerve root involved, as already discussed, is C8 and T1. The muscles involved are all intrinsic muscles of the hand that are thenar, hypothenar, interossei, and lumbrical muscles. Moving on, we have the clinical features of Klumpke's paralysis. Here we can see the lower trunk that is getting affected in the Klumpke's paralysis. These are the nerves which are getting affected. It's the medial root of the median nerve, which helps in the formation of the median nerve. So we have the median nerve getting affected. Then we have ulnar nerve, medial pectoral, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. Clinical features are claw hand, in which the hand flexes into a claw, as we can see here in the picture. What happens in the claw hand is that the metacarpophalangeal joint are hyperextended. So here we have the metacarpals and here we have the phalanges. Junction between the metacarpals and the phalanges is called metacarpophalangeal joint. So this metacarpophalangeal joint is hyperextended, whereas the interphalangeal joint, these ones that we can see here, interphalangeal joints, are flexed. Now there is sensory loss along the medial border of the forearm and hand. So here, this is the medial border of the hand and there is loss of sensory innervation. Then we have Horner syndrome, which occurs due to involvement of T1 root. It results in ptosis, which means drooping of the upper eyelid. Then we have anhidrosis, which is inability to sweat. Then we have miosis, which is constriction of the pupil, and enophthalmos, which is basically posterior displacement of the eyeball in the orbit. And with this, we have reached the end of the video. Don't forget to download the flashcards from the description below, and see you in the next one.